Welcome to the Readiness Institute Speaker Series. My name is Justin Alio. I am the Senior Director of the Readiness Institute, a Penn State outreach initiative with a mission to enable education industry and community partners to coordinate, collaborate, and create experiences for learners to achieve community and future readiness. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's webinar. If you are unable to make it today, a recording will be posted on the Readiness Institute website, so please make sure you check that out later on. Please share this with your network as well. Throughout today's webinar, make sure you also, if you have questions or comments, please feel free to drop it in the chat. Today's topic is partnering for good, and I'm so excited to introduce our special guest today, Sam Moore, Executive Director of the Moonshot Museum. Sam, welcome to the RI Speaker Series.
Hey, Justin, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
Great, thank you so much, and really looking forward to today's webinar to learn about partnering for good, learn about you and the Moonshot Museum. And to kick things off, I just want to have a first question we ask everyone. Describe your personal and professional pathway and the pathway of the Moonshot Museum, so we get a chance to learn a little bit about you, but actually how you got to where you are as the Executive Director of the Moonshot Museum.
Terrific. Yeah. So I have been in Pittsburgh now for 5 years. Pittsburgh was not an anticipated stop on my professional journey. I'm from rural Southern Illinois. St. Louis was the closest big city. And my background's in history museums. You're going to hear me talk a lot today about space and science and technology and STEAM learning. But that is not actually kind of where my bread and butter was for a good chunk of my career before now. And so working in history museums brought me here to Pittsburgh. My husband and I here to Pittsburgh about 5 years ago, worked at the Heinz History Center, where I was director of public programs, and then moved over to the National Aviary, which obviously is not a history museum, and began my divergence from history. Was over at the National Aviary and oversaw our operations and earned revenue for a couple of years through the pandemic, and then joined Moonshot Museum. My interest in museums and in public engagement really lies and focuses on people. In history museums, it's really, really easy to gravitate toward the objects and the research and the archives and the things. But what I've always really enjoyed are making personal connections and storytelling. And that's part of what drew me to this role that I'm in now at Moonshot Museum as executive director. Moonshot Museum, for those of you who haven't heard of it, I don't blame you for that at all, because we're brand new. We've existed on paper for all of barely 2 years, and we've really only existed in the public eye since May of this past year of 2021. Our mission at Moonshot Museum is to inspire you, to inspire community members, and especially to inspire young people in Pittsburgh to find how they fit into the future of space exploration. Believe it or not, there is a robust and vibrant space industry here in Pittsburgh and in our wider Rust Belt region. Our mission is to connect kids to that, to show them what's happening in real time, and to show them next steps that they can take to get involved and push space exploration forward here in Pittsburgh. We are partnered with Astrobotic Technology, which is a space robotics company that's actually going to return America to the surface of the moon this year. They right now are building a lunar lander that'll land on the moon later this year, be the first moon mission from the United States since the end of the Apollo program. And it'll also be the first private company that ever lands on the moon. And I won't go into too much more detail, but here's the basics. We are so tightly partnered with them that we actually are in the same building as them. So we're a nonprofit. We have a large gallery, or we will, at the Astrobotic facility here in the North Side in Manchester. And a full wall of windows of our museum actually looks into the clean room, high bay assembly area where Astrobotic is actively building spacecraft. You'll be able to get up close to the space industry, learn more from space industry professionals about the work that they do. And it has been a winding path to get us to this point today. We're in the midst midst of a fundraising campaign. We've been developing exhibitions. We've been working really, really closely with community partners like the Readiness Institute and others, and especially with our local neighborhood here in Manchester. And I'm working from home today, but I should state on the outset that I'm a Manchester resident as well. So I live about 2 blocks from where I work. And as a Manchesterian here in the North Side, I'm really, really excited about what it means for our community, and have had the opportunity to do a lot of work with the community with Moonshot over the past several months.
That's awesome, Sam. I got goosebumps thinking about a space museum in Pittsburgh and the efforts that's happening, what you and your team are doing. It's absolutely amazing. And if you want to learn, if you're watching right now, want to learn a little bit more about the Moonshot Museum, Emma, our project manager at the Readiness Institute, dropped it into the chat, the link. So please feel free to check that out. And Sam, just a question: when do you officially plan on opening, or do you have some type of rough timeline to share with everyone when you will be opening the doors to the Moonshot Museum?
Are you referring to what's the countdown to launch, Justin? Is that
yes, I am.
Excellent. So we are going to open later this fall. Our target opening right now is at the very end of September or very early October, and we are well on track for that. So this year, well before the end of the year, and we're zooming right along. We'll actually begin to build here in the next several weeks.
That's so exciting. And one of the things you talked about is that you are located in a specific region in Pittsburgh, Manchester, and you have a lot of partners that you're working with to build the museum and doing a lot of outreach in that effort. So that kind of leads us to today's topic, partnering for good. And can you just tell us a little bit about what is partnering for good and why is it so important in the development of planning for this museum?
Sure. So Moonshot Museum is a brand new participant in Pittsburgh's cultural nonprofit scene, education scene, museum scene. Frankly, we don't come to the table with a large public presence, with a large email list, with a large reach. And so from day one, practically, on one hand, it makes a ton of sense for us to partner with as many people as possible so that we get on people's radars and so that we can really make an impact. The reality is that, it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to land a spaceship here in the North Side and then proclaim that we are the answer for all things, innovative STEAM education, as well as, the answer for all things workforce development, because there's so much incredible work happening in Pittsburgh already in both of those areas. Right down the street from us, we've got partners at Carnegie Science Center that have been innovating in STEAM ed for decades. Down the street, the other direction from us, we've got the Children's Museum that's doing really similar work. Manchester Bidwell is right around the corner from us. The Readiness Institute is just across the river. And, as a new player, as a new participant, it makes sense for us to plug in to partner for good and to support the work of organizations like this one and others, and bring our very unique focus, the 21st century space industry and career opportunities and workforce development within that, to support the work that's already happening here, because a rising tide really does lift all ships. That's true for Moonshot. I think it's true for every organization we've had the opportunity to partner with. It's especially true for our relationship with our neighborhood here in Manchester. Moonshot's home neighborhood of Manchester looks quite a bit different than a lot of other museum neighborhoods do in Pittsburgh. It is a majority minority community. 80% of the residents in Manchester identify as African American, in a city where only 20% of the entire population identifies as African American. It's a 50-50 split between renters and homeowners. We've got 5 schools within walking distance or a really, really short drive of Moonshot. And so we have a really unique opportunity to huddle with a neighborhood that often isn't brought into conversations around space exploration, certainly, but even around innovative STEAM learning, and make some connections, build a museum. Something that we talk about a lot is that we want to build a museum that is future focused, is innovative, is built in community with community. And that's really been kind of what Partnering for Good has meant for us over the past almost year now.
Wow, that's truly amazing, and I'm so glad to hear that you're involved in community from the get-go, and you partner, and you know that you want to make this museum part of the Pittsburgh community, and being part of the Pittsburgh community means partnering with organizations. So what are some things that you, maybe individually as the executive director or the Moonshot Museum, what are some specific things that you are doing in order to partner for good in communities?
Sure. So something we've been doing a lot of over the past year is exhibition development, working on concepting, working on what the interactives and the activities that kids and families and visitors will do inside the museum when they visit after we open. And something we did at the tail end of last year was partner with our friends at the Science Center, partner with our friends at the Children's Museum, and actually with the Readiness Institute as well, to say, help us prototype some of this. We don't have a physical space yet. If you visit Moonshot Museum today, it is a very, very dirty garage space. Is what I'll liken it to. It's going to be a stunning and immersive museum gallery here in just a few months from now. But right now, it's actively under construction. So we worked with these partners to provide a space for students from a couple of schools across the region to come into, get hands-on with Moonshot Museum and the exhibitions that we're planning, and make sure that everything we're building is as immersive and engaging and goals oriented as we think it is. That's one example. Working with schools and with cultural partners. Another example is that my office isn't actually at the museum. My office is at our neighborhood organization here in Manchester. So if we have a meeting, chances are, it'll either be here on a computer screen or I'll have you down at the Manchester Citizens Corporation where our office is. That's intentional. As a new space that doesn't have a physical space yet, there's no better place for us to be than in the hub of where all of the conversations are happening in our neighborhood, from economic development to construction to social services. There's a lot of really good reasons to be in Manchester, and there's especially a lot of good reasons for us as we're building to be in the hub of where all those conversations are happening. We're also taking a look at programming. Though we're still early days, we've already launched a couple of programming partnerships, one with Perry High School, via our partnership with the Science Center and A+ Schools. We're bringing 40 students from Perry High School in every other Friday for the next few Fridays. And the goal there is to, in their home neighborhood here in Manchester, here in the North Side, really make these cultural assets, these entry points into careers and futures in STEAM learning in space and in the space industry more accessible, to demystify, even the Science Center a little bit, to demystify this new shiny white building that's over behind the Wendy's and the McDonald's off of Allegheny Avenue. What is this place? It's going to be a space museum, and they're building spacecraft inside. We're also working really closely with Iota Phi here in the Manchester neighborhood and their Carter G. Woodson Academy. So really just taking every opportunity, particularly in this moment when we don't have a museum to run, when we're obviously very busy and getting ready to have a museum to run, but have the flexibility to say, yes, we can partner with you on this program on a Tuesday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon, whatever you need from us, and really working to build a foundation of partnership that can last once we do have a museum to run and do have a physical space that's open. And so the partnership has grown really, really in an exciting way from our home base here in Manchester, in a way that we're really pleased with, and has made for, frankly, a better museum, a stronger museum, and a better program portfolio, because the people who live here are weighing in on it.
That's amazing. I mean, talk about being part of a community, to get community to come in and help design and be part of the process before it even starts, and then continue. That's just, thank you for doing that. So people that are listening today, or people that listen to this in the future, and they say, man, I really want to get involved with this museum. I really want to reach out to Sam. How can I get involved in any way? How can I, bring a screwdriver? How can I donate money to it? How can I be part of some of the programming, or just learn more about it? What are some ways that people can get engaged with what's happening now, or what could be happening in the future, and say, hey, I have an idea. Can you listen to this idea? Just anything. What's some ways that people can connect with you, learn more about the Moonshot Museum, Obviously, we have the website in the chat, but any other things?
Yeah. So I cannot wait for the day when I can just say, come see me, right? Come on down, walk in the door and let's talk. And we're not quite there yet. We're several months away from that still. But in the meantime, the best way to get in touch, either to ask a question, to check in to see if we can partner on something, if we can come into the classroom, or you can get some kind of a tour before we're open, or, just working on community programming, is to shoot us a note. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. You can send us an email anytime. Our emails are really easy. We only have 2 employees right now. So it's sam@moonshotmuseum.org or mike@moonshotmuseum.org. Mike is our programs manager. So get in touch with us. Just shoot us a note. The beauty of being a small organization that is growing fast and kind of firing on all cylinders is that really everything comes across my desk. I see everything that comes through. And I'm really excited to connect with you. You can visit us online at our website, moonshotmuseum.org. You can get a better idea. We've got a virtual tour there up of what the gallery is going to look like. We've got some information on who's on our board, who our sponsors are, the ongoing funding campaign. And of course, I wouldn't be a good nonprofit director if I didn't mention that you can donate on our website as well and support launch as we work to close out our initial funding campaign for the museum.
That's amazing, Sam. Congratulations with everything. And just so impressed with what you're doing, making the community part of the Moonshot Museum, partnering for good as a nonprofit. And just thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Any last closing words that you want to share with people listening or people that will listen to this in the future?
Yeah, 2 things. So the first is that we live in a remarkable place. I'm not from here. I have had the privilege of adopting this place as my, second hometown over the past 5 years. And, between organizations like Readiness Institute, like Remake Learning, the foundation community that exists here, the educational community that exists here, it is remarkable. If you are from here and you're used to it, please recognize what a remarkable education and innovation focused community this is. It's very, very cool to be doing something unusual, like building a new space museum with a pretty unique operating model in a community like this. And I don't think it could happen anywhere else, frankly. The second thing I want to say is that pay attention to the space industry over the course of the next several months. It's not an exaggeration to say that Pittsburgh is quite literally going to return America to the surface of the moon this year. We're going to make history. The eyes of the world will be on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is already leading in the space industry. And it is incumbent upon us. It's our mission at Moonshot Museum and incumbent upon us as a community to look at that opportunity and say, how do we continue to lead? How do we connect our young people to opportunity and innovation and jobs that will exist in this industry in the coming years as we work to become an interplanetary species? So Pittsburgh is great, and pay attention to space. That's what I'll close with.
Awesome. Thank you. So that's a good closing. And Aaron, thank you so much for the comment in the chat. Yes, bravo, Sam. Absolutely, for leading this charge. Just amazing. What a risk. Hey, come open up a Moonshot Museum, a space museum. It seems like yes.
In a wild ride.
So, hey, everyone, thank you so much for attending our speaker series. If you want to check out other ones, please feel free to jump on the website, readinessinstitute.edu, psu.edu. Check it out. We have a list of speaker series topics and resources and programs to offer the region as a service outreach unit. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much to the Moonshot Museum and you and your team, Mike. So just stay in touch, right? Just check out the website and watch the news, and you will see Moonshot Museum and Astrobotics. So thank you, everyone. Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.